There's actually one thing that people on both sides are doing. They're buying guns. WBZ's Bill Shields is in Middleborough tonight to explain.
Picture yourself strolling confidently into the new year, armed with a piece so terrible, it'll make you the butt of every range joke. Living in 2025 should mean better firearms, right? Yet some folks are still picking lemons that do nothing but add weight to their waistband. Let's talk about the worst offenders. 6 guns you'd be better off leaving on the shelf. Jokes aside, if you're still entertaining these clunkers, now's your time to wise up. Let's get started, counting down to the absolute worst. Number 6. The Brickmaster Patriot Ultra. Imagine a handgun so unnecessarily massive it feels like you strapped a cinder block to your hip. That's the Brickmaster Patriot Ultra, a full-size 45 ACP semi-automatic nightmare introduced to the market by a no-name manufacturer that claimed unmatched durability. Durability isn't the issue, it's everything else. Weighing in at nearly 3.5 pounds unloaded, this beast is heavier than your lunchbox. And after packing a magazine of a measly 7 rounds, yes, only 7, you'll wonder why you're dragging this boat anchor around at all. Barrel length checks in at a lengthy 6 inches, giving it the profile of a mid-sized pipe rather than a modern sidearm. Its frame is made from low-quality cast steel that feels like you're holding a construction tool. The slide rattles like a paint can every time you chamber around. For caliber like 45 ACP, which already brings some thump, you'd expect a reliable recoil spring system. But the Patriot Ultra's trigger mechanism is mushy at best and unpredictable at worst. The single-action trigger has a travel so long you'd swear you were pulling it through molasses. Safety features? A token thumb safety that's stiff and placed awkwardly low, forcing your thumb into an unnatural angle. The sights are old school, fixed iron lumps that barely align. Forget about modern night sights or fiber optics. Apparently, Brickmaster thought their user base enjoyed squinting. Ergonomics? Let's say it feels like gripping a 2x4 plank wrapped in cheap synthetic rubber. Concealability is a lost cause. You might as well try hiding a hardcover dictionary in your waistband. In a world where even budget pistols have redefined polymer frames, this brick of steel stands out as a relic you want nowhere near your belt. Don't be that guy. Skip the Patriot Ultra. Number 5. The Micro-Rex Slim 9. Shrinking a 9mm pistol too far can lead to disaster, and the Micro-Rex Slim 9 is the poster child for overzealous downsizing. Yes, subcompact carry guns are all the rage, but this thing took slim to a new level. At barely over 14 ounces unloaded, it sounds great on paper until you realize it's uncontrollable. The barrel measures just under 2.5 inches, making it look like a toy rather than a serious self-defense firearm. The magazine holds a scant 6 rounds of 9mm, enough to maybe scare off a squirrel, if you can actually hit it. The caliber might be standard, but the trigger mechanism is anything but. It's a striker-fired system in theory, but it breaks with the consistency of wet spaghetti. Sometimes you get a nice clean break. Other times, it feels like you're trying to snap a twig underwater. The frame is a cheap polymer that creaks when you squeeze it. Believe it or not, the slide is made from a mystery metal that's lighter than aluminum but less durable than pot metal, leaving you wondering if it'll crack after a few hundred rounds. Sights? Oh, they're there. Tiny, minimalist bumps that are supposedly adjustable but barely distinguishable from the slide itself. Trying to line them up at any distance beyond 7 yards feels like aligning mosquito legs. As for safety features, the Micro-Rex team decided a vague trigger blade safety was enough. The grip is so thin and angular it digs into your palm. Recoil is snappy and punishing. Expect the muzzle to jump like a startled cat. Concealability is its only redeeming feature. You can hide it in your pocket, but what good is a concealed piece if you can't rely on it? The Micro-Rec Slim 9 might look sleek, but trust me, you're getting a handful of cheap compromises. Don't embarrass yourself by carrying it. Number 4. The Titan Fist 50 Snub. Ever wanted to carry a hand cannon that's as practical as a balloon anchor? Meet the Titan Fist 50 Snub, a revolver that's just as absurd as it sounds. Chambered in 50 AE, yes, 50 cal AE. The recoil alone might knock your wrist out of alignment. At around 3 pounds loaded with a 5-round cylinder, it's hefty enough to leave your belt drooping. But that's the least of your worries. The barrel length, a stubby 2 inches, ensures that all the power of that big round is wasted. Muzzle flash? More like a muzzle fireball that could singe your eyebrows. The double-action, single-action trigger is gritty, heavy, and unpredictable, like trying to pull a stubborn nail from a board. Its frame is solid stainless steel, which they'll claim is premium, but in reality, it's just adding to your chiropractor bills. With no external safety except your own trembling hand, you'll question the wisdom of holstering this monstrosity. Sights are minimalistic and prone to going out of zero after just a handful of shots. The top strap barely holds them in place, and the front post might tilt after a repeated recoil. Ergonomics? That's a joke. The grip is so fat you'd swear it was designed for an ogre's hand. Your average person will struggle to control it, and the sharp recoil ensures you'll never want to practice enough to master it. Concealability is a pipe dream, unless you wear a trench coat year-round. Unique features? Does every shot feels like a cannon blast count? In a world where manageable and reliable carry guns are abundant, the Titan Fist 50 Snub stands out as a reckless choice. You want to feel macho? Hit the gym. Don't try flexing by carrying this overkill piece of nonsense. Number 3. The Leadfeather Model 210. Picture a budget-friendly 10mm semi-auto that looks decent at first glance, until you dig a little deeper. The Leadfeather Model 210 weighs just over 2 pounds unloaded and has a magazine capacity of 10 rounds. Not the worst stats, right? But start handling it and you'll find the devil is in the details. The trigger mechanism is a hammer-fired system that somehow manages to combine gritty take-up with an unpredictable break. The barrel length of 4.5 inches might sound normal, but the barrel's interior finish is so rough that it shaves small flecks off your rounds, affecting accuracy. The frame is a cheap zinc aluminum alloy that feels like a child's toy after a few range sessions. Its safety features include a manual thumb safety and a half-cock notch, but both feel wobbly and imprecise. The sights are low-profile iron blocks that give you barely any contrast against the target. Adjusting them involves tapping with a mallet, and good luck zeroing it in properly. Nothing stays put for long on the Leadfeather. As for ergonomics, it's got a grip angle that feels like it was modeled off a garden hose nozzle. The texture is slippery, and after a few rounds, your hand starts cramping. With its 10mm chambering, recoil should be stout but controllable and a quality pistol. Here, it's more of a jarring slap that sends the muzzle dancing all over the place. Concealability is mediocre, it's too heavy and oddly shaped to sit comfortably inside the waistband. The finish flakes off after mild use, and the slide rails show wear after just a few boxes of ammo. Unique features? Perhaps the fact that you can't trust it to cycle reliably through a full magazine without at least one jam. Don't show up to 2025 clinging to this hunk of questionable metallurgy. You'll end up feeling like you threw good money down the drain. Number 2. The Rustwing Mark II. The Rustwing Mark II might as well have come from your grandfather's dusty old attic. Chambered in bizarre 7.62 by 25mm rounds, because apparently the designers thought reviving obscure Soviet-era calibers was a good idea. This pistol offers you the worst of both worlds, heavy recoil and poor ergonomics. Weighing in at nearly 2.5 pounds unloaded, it's a hefty chore to carry. The barrel stretches to about 5 inches, which would be fine if the barrel wasn't made of questionable steel that erodes like a cheap garden tool. The frame is old school blued steel, and by blued I mean half rusted straight out of the box. Magazine capacity sits at a disappointing 8 rounds. The single action trigger has a break that feels gritty, like sandpaper rubbed against broken glass. Sights? Tiny notch and post irons that look like they were hand filed by someone in a hurry. Safety features are rudimentary. A clumsy manual thumb safety that's stiff and small, plus a half-cock notch that doesn't inspire confidence. The single action type is single action only, which would be fine if it was crisp. Instead, it's mushy and inconsistent. Ergonomically, the grip is shaped like a warped rectangle, forcing your hand into unnatural positions. The panels are cheap wood laminate that splinter after a few hundred rounds. Concealability? This thing prints worse than an old inkjet, poking out under even a loose shirt. Unique features might include the fact that it can double as a makeshift club if it jams, which it will often. The 7.62 by 25mm round is notorious for overpenetration and muzzle flash, making it a hazard in close quarters. Carrying the Rustwing Mark II is like going back in time for all the wrong reasons. In 2025, you deserve better. Don't cripple yourself with this outdated relic. Number 1. The Picopen 22. Finally, the absolute worst. The Picopen 22 is so laughable it's practically a bad movie prop. Chambered in 22 short. Yes, the weakest of the weak. This single-shot pen gun tries to masquerade as a pocket-friendly lifesaver. The only life it's saving is that of your attacker's sense of humor. At a weight of only a few ounces and a barrel barely an inch long, it looks more like a novelty lighter than a firearm. Magazine capacity is non-existent. You get one measly round at a time, and reloading involves unscrewing the pen's cap. The trigger mechanism is a spring-loaded disaster. There's no conventional trigger guard, just a subtle button you press to release the striker. Safety features? Good luck. They claim there's a rotating collar to safe the pen, but it's flimsy and often sticks. The caliber 22 short might as well be firing spitballs. Penetration and stopping power are laughable. Your attacker might be more annoyed than deterred. The sights don't exist. You're point shooting something that looks like office stationery, and we all know how steady your aim will be under stress with a pen in hand. The frame is a cheap aluminum tube that dents easily. Concealability is the only thing going for it. You can slip it into a shirt pocket next to your fountain pen, but what good is that? Unique features include making your friends burst out laughing when you show them your carry gun. It's 2025 and you're carrying a pen gun that does nothing but irritate a determined attacker. Don't be that guy who whips out the Picopen 22 when danger strikes. Save yourself the embarrassment. Jokes aside, these have been the world's worst guns to ever carry in 2025. Hopefully you're now armed with knowledge and not these clunkers. Don't settle for dead weight, poor reliability, or laughable firepower. Choose wisely, stay safe, and maybe invest in something that won't get you laughed off the range. If you enjoyed this deep dive into firearms folly, hit that subscribe button and join our community of informed enthusiasts. Thanks for watching, and I hope you make smarter choices next time you strap on that holster.